Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Let's do a little test, shall we? Okay. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Hey Gore, how you doing, buddy? Mike sounds good. Thank you, thank you. Oh, I just noticed one of my lights. Loud and clear. Thank you for the confirmation. Let's just dive right into it then. I just noticed at the last moment one of my lights was on and it was unplugged, so just had to plug it back in. We're good to go. Turn the alarm off, put the phone on silent. Welcome, welcome one and all to another edition of Mapmaker Monday. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is what you see in front of you. It's a map-making utility available on Steam. As many of you know, it allows you to build maps for your tabletop campaigns such as D&D, Pathfinder, etc. Usually does really well in a fantasy setting, but also can excel in steampunk settings and also Western. Anyway, moving on. If you have any questions related to the Mapmaker, let me know and I'd be glad to answer them. If you have any suggestions or feedback, also glad to hear it. It's called Dungeon Alchemist. And we're actually making a ancient cemetery, which I plan to kind of expand and make quite large over time. So this is the beginning kind of entry area. And there is a big chapel. And then here is some graves. I'm going to be adding more and more to it. I wanted to add some detail as well. But for right now, this is kind of the start. We'll be working on this throughout the stream. Every Monday, I host a stream called Mapmaker Monday, where I build a map live for people to watch and learn. Yes and no. Depending on how powerful your computer is, Lewis, that it may or may not support, you know, a massive map. If you have like an average computer, then you can usually make like between like a, 30 by 30 up to like a 60 by 60 square map without problems. Now, that usually isn't ideal for like a world map, but there's people in our community who use what's called forced perspective. So they'll scale objects down really tiny and make like little tiny villages to make a regional or a world map. So it is possible using a little bit of trickery. At some point in our development, the devs want to add like a overworld biome where you can build world or regional maps much easier. But until then, it's mainly focused on like you can do battle maps, local area, small towns and villages. I've seen people make huge cities and regional maps, though. It's just usually, takes a little bit of extra work or some trickery. If you want to know, there's not an ETA on that yet. I mean, like I said, it's quite possible to make a world map. Like, here, let me show you this. Someone actually made an entire Legend of Zelda map. This thing here is massive. It's 256 tiles by 88 tiles. And it is essentially the original Legend of Zelda as an overworld map. So it's the whole world map for like a Nintendo game, which is quite impressive. this was made like several years ago. People do this kind of stuff all the time. Let's try searching regional. By the way, if you want to learn more about Dungeon Alchemist, you can click the link in our profile, which goes to our website, and you can find our Steam, our Discord, and whatnot from there. Let's see here. Yeah, a lot of these are like big, huge, like cities, right? This here is an overworld map for the Thither in the Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Here, I'm going to open it. So how's everyone doing today across our various platforms? I just want everyone to know we're multi-streaming. We're on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, and Steam all simultaneously, but I am monitoring all those chat feeds. So if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, feedback, let me know, and I will guide you. So you would use Dungeon Alchemist to make a map for your campaign, Louis, and then you could either print said map, or you can order a game mat through our partner Kraken War Games. Alternatively, you could take the map as a file and go to like a print shop, get it printed, or you could just print it at home as like a small map or a series of small maps. The other thing is you can export the map as a digital file as either a JPEG or a video, MP4, WebM, to play on like a projector tabletop or a TV tabletop. So if you play at home with like a setting like that, that could be ideal. And lastly, and not least, is we offer support for a number of virtual tabletops. So virtual tabletops are a tool that are used to allow you to play games online with your friends. Essentially, tools like Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, Foundry, Above VTT. These tools our maps export to them, and you can put them in that tool, and then your players can see that in an online play space where they can navigate it. So it's essentially a very versatile map-making tool that you can build intricate, detailed maps by hand, or you can use our procedural generation AI that we crafted in-house, trained in-house, and developed entirely in-house using our own assets and own data sets. So at no time were public art or maps or data scraped to train our AI. So we feel we took an ethical approach to develop our AI, and we think that using AI to generate maps to speed up your campaign session prep is probably the best thing you can use it for. It's all about saving your time, right? Anyway, moving on. So this here is an overworld regional map. We have like a massive river system, several like points of interest, towns. This is a big log, like there's like a big home within a massive felled tree. I just know these are all different regions within that area, and they used what forced perspective, like we talked about before, just making stuff small on a relatively reasonable size map, because you can scale items down to like tiny Lilliputian size or make them massive giant size. Exactly. You have the best of both worlds, as Remy said on Twitter, or on Twitch. Remy says, saving your time while giving you the freedom to make very unique and custom maps for your campaign. Essentially the best of both worlds. Whereas most are either kind of one or the other. It's either like you make them, it's either, full, it's one of three. Pre-made, right? Which you just kind of make them work for your stuff. Next is, make yourself, which you usually have to do everything. And then the last is AI, which is iffy because it could be questionable ethically or just not make what you want it to, even with all the prompts and everything you give it. Remy, how you doing today? I appreciate you being here. I'm thinking we need to probably add a couple of Twitch mods to kind of Nintendo support. It's your favorite map making program you keep forgetting to buy. Well, here's your sign. You're talking to the official account of Dungeon Alchemist, so why don't you just go check out the demo at least, because we got a free demo you can try, and you can see how it runs on your machine. It depends on your region. Here, let me pull it up. So Steam kind of changed their stuff for like more regional whatevers. Anyway, it's $44.99 US dollars, and then depending on your region, it might be a different price. We have adjusted prices for several regions to accommodate to, different currency strengths and whatnot. But anyway, oh, there I am, meta. Like a loop of Mac. But, Louis, you can definitely check out the free demo if you want to try it out and see how it runs. Oh, nice. Well, nice, Nintendo. Yeah, Distal and Bunny are good people. I haven't seen them as much as I'd like to lately. I've been kind of swamped on both the home front and work front. The last few months have been kind of a crazy roller coaster, and actually, like right now we're running a giveaway, and then in a few days we're launching our Makeship campaign for our very first plushie. In like under a week, actually. So, for anyone who is not aware, we're actually having a fun, totally optional Makeship plushie campaign to, celebrate just having such an amazing community, but also give you guys and gals an option for a custom piece of merch that is exclusive to, our Dungeon Alchemist identity. Anyone who owns a copy of DA knows of Hendrik of the Pits. He is sort of our mascot, if you will. He, basically... sorry, I'm looking for more stuff. There it is. He is a imp who was kind of, conceived in the campaign of my boss's Pathfinder campaign. And he became the mascot for Dungeon Alchemist when Dungeon Alchemist was in, like, alpha beta. And he's now, like, you see him all over our social networking, our videos, our load screen, etc. Now this is kind of this would be a fun 3D, artist rendering that we sent off to Makeship in hopes that they could closely recreate this. Obviously, the final product will definitely differ. So here is the original Hendrik. Here is a, artist rendering of what we want Hendrik to be like, right? And then Makeship will start the campaign in 7 days. If we hit enough contributors, enough people get plushies, then we will actually be able to, have the campaign go through, and they'll ship out worldwide to wherever you want, and you'll have yourself your very own custom Hendrik plushie. Again, this is optional. To donate to contribute to the campaign, it's $2 when it launches, but then there's an additional charge of $27.99 plus shipping and tax when it launches November 23rd. So if you do participate, you should be able to get it just before Christmas, I'm hoping. Or at least before holidays, depending on what holiday. Yeah, here, I'll drop the link in at least where I can. So, definitely create an account if you don't have one. You can also put your email here and subscribe, and you'll get an update when it comes out. I will be launching, updates and information across our socials, Discord, etc. to announce this so everyone will know about it. And by the way, if we don't hit enough of our goal, like if enough people aren't interested, then everyone gets a refund. So it's really no harm, no foul. You would descend into Avernus for Hendrik, right? He's a cutie. But he also probably wants to steal your soul. Anyway, kind of back to my map. I haven't done any building, but it's okay. We've been talking about important news. We've been talking about, what Dungeon Alchemist can do. Sorry, I haven't been looking at TikTok chat for a minute, so I apologize if I missed any questions. Remember, if you do have any questions, concerns, feedback, suggestions for the build, etc., let me know, and I will do my best to answer them. So my plan is I'm gonna put together a little video to help announce the Hendrik plushie campaign when it launches, and I have this lovely little graphic that Mrs. Mac put together. Hey, how you doing, Coco? And I don't know if y'all see this right now, but it's Hendrik being like, uppies, give me uppies, pick me up. So I'm gonna kind of use this to my advantage and have some fun with it for the video. Because I won't have the plushie when we launch the campaign. It isn't out yet. I have to have something to give you. Awesome, Louis. Awesome. If you have any other questions, let me know. And feel free to hop into our Discord. We offer support there. There's a question forum, support forum, just general hangout. You can get to know other GMs, DMs, ask questions, and even pick other like-minded individuals' brains about campaign ideas, stat blocks, etc. We have a whole bunch of areas for people to interact, hang out, have fun. Anyway, let's get back to the build. Back to the build. Oh! Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is kind of flesh out this little parking lot area. Coco, how are you today? Got to remember to turn off collisions so I'm not restricted, and then I can make this hedge larger. And then I'm going to sink it into the ground a little bit. So it is a larger hedge, but it's actually down to this level. Nice thing about that too is every hedge I generate after this will all be the same level. I'm going to rotate this one 180 degrees though. Am I hedging? Oh my goodness. Robert, straight to jail. I'm good, Coco. Oh, nice Nintendo support. Yeah. I'm glad you found us over here on Twitch. Honestly, Twitch is kind of like the home base, while the others are like our kind of satellite outliers. But I definitely watch all chats and monitor them. I find that the Twitch chat kind of lags out sometimes. Or not Twitch chat, the TikTok chat. So it's good that you made it over this way. Remy, are you around still? That Abo Lives person, you can ban them if you just right click on them. Thank you. Well, oh, maybe. If not, I'll get it. Here, I'll get it. Oh, it's left click. My bad. There's a left click and then the little... Yep, I got it. Done. I think Remy stepped away, so I'm on my own today. Another reason I kind of want to recruit some more mods into the fold from some loyal viewers who have been watching for a long time and are here kind of consistently would be cool. Kind of expand our mod crew a little bit. Maybe start here in the Twitch arena and maybe dip over into like our Discord at some point. We've been growing a lot. I mean, I've been looking at our numbers. Just since I've joined the team, we've essentially doubled our social network presence, which, I can't take all the credit, but if you put everything into perspective, that's a lot to manage. 10 million strong. You're funny, bro. Now that I have a hedge here, I'm gonna make a path and then put this little bench, like, probably just next to the tree or next to the fence. That looks good. And then I could put a path through there, so I'll just skip a little block. Oh, that looks good. Oh, yeah. Lexecutioner on YouTube says, amazed at what this map-making tool provides for DMs. I never would have imagined to be able to create maps like this back when I was fumbling my early attempts at DMing Redbox in 83. Oh, man. So what were your original maps like, Lexecutioner? You've probably seen so much change from then till now. I would love to hear, just because your perspective from that alone is crazy. Like, my first D&D game was played on a piece of graph paper from a graph notebook from school, and my token was a penny. The enemies were like army men, and the good guys were coins. It was quite an interesting thing. And I played a fighter. I know this, I remember correctly that I was some sort of fighter class. We're gonna need another path out this way soon. I think after this dip. That's such a unique insight. By the way, TikTok, thank you for all the likes so far. $10 million strong and growing. Oh, really? See, I honestly, I don't recall the vitamin, the Flintstone vitamin commercial. Yeah, I think I'm going to do a path right here, so we'll skip. Every once in a while, I flip a 180 on the hedge, and that just kind of, it mixes it up just slightly. And I might do another path here. Essentially, I'm just kind of like letting ways in to see these different... I kind of want to have a road going this direction. I put these mausoleums out so I wouldn't forget them, but I'm going to do kind of a more fancy little area over here with mausoleums and little like rows of stuff. I don't want to grow up. I mean, if you hit me with 90s like commercials and jingles, I could definitely like jingle all day. You know, Louis, I appreciate the offer. I think TikTok we're pretty solid at the moment. But over on Twitch, we might consider it with time. If anyone is invited, it would be people who are, here kind of week after week and support us for the long term. And so if you are, committed to that, definitely, we would definitely be open to it. Yeah, it is true. You can like stack them into each other like this to kind of mix it up so it's less of the same. Kind of cross them over. I do really appreciate that, Louis, though. That's really nice of you. You kind of do this little, every once in a while, bunch them. Notice how there's like kind of the bubbles in the hedge piece, so if you cross them over a little bit, it makes it feel like a totally different hedge. I really wanted some topiaries, but when I looked on the workshop, I couldn't find any. But then I realized why. Let me show you. Because the person who uploaded them spelled topiary wrong in the description. Let's try that. No. No, I'm not shaming them. I'm shaming Steam for having such a horrible search It is awful. Give me 1 second. I need to find this person's collection. It basically, you just cannot find the stuff because if it's spelled wrong, it won't find it. So it's crucial, A, that descriptions have spacing and correct spelling, both in the name of the asset and the map and the description. Okay, so Lexecutioner, grid and paper and pencil. We use green and army men mostly. We slowly built our, oh nice, a lead mini collection. Did you buy the lead minis, or were you making your own from like a press? Like you'd melt the lead and pour them in? Because I know there was like all those little toy kits back in the day where you can make your own soldiers, and I think that would be impressive. Didn't they even sell make your own monster kits and stuff? In the 90s, we switched over to like all rubber and plastic. So we had metal molds, but everything you molded in them was like, it was like creepy crawlers. You guys remember that? Or build your own monster. Man, that is crazy. All lead everything. That is nuts. Looking back, I'm wondering if that was not necessarily a good idea. But honestly, like, that is so cool. Moose, we used to use Army Men until it got some official Dungeons and Dragons minis. One of the box of 8. Didn't they original Dungeons and Dragons minis, they actually like pulled them from different like old, like, you know, the packs of toys to use them as reference. They were like the monsters from the past, like the Jurassic, and they had things in them that like made no sense, but like the original Bugbear and the original Owlbear and a few other things came from like a little toy pack. So, you know, Eduardo, that's a good question. So the more assets that are on screen will definitely start burdening your machine, right? But only if you have them actually out and rendering. So most applications have pre-rendered environments, like most games, and they use a term called flashlight rendering to essentially only render what you're showing. So DA doesn't necessarily have that per se. It will always render whatever's visible at all times. So essentially, if you're zoomed way out building your map, your computer's going to run slower and clunkier. If you're zoomed way in a focal point, it'll run a lot better because at any given point, you don't have as many objects on screen. Does that make sense? So, putting that into perspective, in most cases, I highly recommend a few things. If you're struggling to load stuff, go to settings, make sure your quality is appropriate for your computer. If you're in high quality and you're noticing problems, try medium or low. Resolution. If you can, you know, lower your resolution and still be happy with it, maybe try it. Because the higher the resolution, the more you are rendering at a higher quality. Excuse me. Got some hiccups. Okay, so, assets from the workshop aren't nearly as optimized as assets from, you know, that are stock in DA. So just keep that a mental note. But we have gone through extreme lengths to optimize the workshop assets. But as you're building, just take a note. If you see this icon here, that means that the assets from the workshop may not be as well optimized or blend as well. So there's something to take into account. Things like abstracts, every time you have an abstract added to the map, like if you add an image to this or to a painting, for instance, a custom image to an abstract, painting, a piece of paper, a sign, all of that increases the file size of the map, whatever the size of that file is. So I made a map and it had like hundreds of paintings in it. And all of those images made the map like 300 plus megabytes. So I ended up going down and compressing all the images to like 1/6 of what they were and then re-uploading them into the map, and it made it much smaller. Hey, Rick Music, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Executioner, thank you, and also Moose. I appreciate all the insight from the OGs. And what I would like to say is the people who pushed and kept tabletop gaming through the roughest of times when it wasn't like the fun time to, or like as cool as it is today to be considered like nerdy or geeky, and when there wasn't tabletop movies and the tons of fantasy movies that were like a regular thing, box office things, and there was things like the Satanic Panic, which made parents and like other people like look down on you or think you were weird or evil for liking D&D and other things like that. I do appreciate that people stuck with it for years and years and kind of kept up the traditions, and now we have like such an amazingly vast and immersive community, tons of tabletop settings, everything from old western to sci-fi, and we have cool tools like Dungeon Alchemist to help drive the narrative. So I just want to salute all the I don't want to I'm not belittling you in any way. I appreciate all the hard work and effort over the years keeping these games alive and these traditions and like funds, into the now. Louis Austria. Hey, is that Louis from TikTok? Oh, it is. I'm pretty sure. Cool. Awesome. I'm gonna add some grave mounds, right? Some of these kind of things. And put some like that. And another thing I'm gonna do is I can kind of shrink them into the ground so it just seems slightly raised. I like that. Just put them around in certain places so they seem more like a fresh grave. And I could also use the terrain tool if I wanted to kind of have like furrows, little grave marks. Old 7H says, I moved halfway across the world, so we had to play D&D online. When I came home for vacation, we all got together. I gifted them a set of dice, their colors, matching their characters. We don't play anymore, but the dice connects us. That's impressive. That's a cool story, a bit of history. Very cool. It's interesting because like the dodecahedron, the D20 has been pretty much around since like ancient Greece. It is like there are so many people who have like, I think just math rocks are part of us, you know what I mean? And dice in general, the D6 has been around for who knows how long. So actually I'm making a large ancient cemetery. I noticed when I was looking on the workshop that we don't really highlight have many cemetery builds, and I wanted something big and massive to feel kind of old and I don't know. Just I wanted it to have layers, to feel like parts of it were run down and worn out and other parts were new and other parts were fancier. So it's kind of just a fun project. On Mapmaker Monday, we don't necessarily always tackle like, oh, this is how you do something really difficult. Sometimes it's more or less just like, hey, let's make something so people can learn about making these if they weren't before. So like, for instance, these graves, we actually used, I guess, kind of a tool that is semi-new. If you go into the brush types in the object brush panel, there is a grid kind of brush, right? And so I just went into graves. I'll just show you. And you can just kind of sweep them. Play around with the density a little bit. That's a little too dense for graves. Let's make the size a little bit more. That's much better. So you can essentially sweep it across and paint out a bunch of graves really quickly. Pick out the ones that don't make any sense, kind of reorganize it slightly. Yeah, so this is a massive cathedral that I built, and we've got a big 3-story bell tower here that I built by hand. The first floor I used AI generation. Everything above that is just delicate, well, just stacking objects. These are wooden platforms right here. I'm still painting graves. 1 second. These guys here. and just kind of rotated it around with some stairs as it like went around the outside edge, put a little balcony, so there's the bell tower, right? Might even make the bell a little bit larger now that I have a scale. I just don't want it over the top that too much. But you can always sink it down like that. Too far. Too far. Whoa. Anyway. So now we have a massive bell tower. Here, let's throw some light on this so it's easier to see. The cathedral, beautiful on the front. I'm putting a little area over here for like stabling carriages and whatnot. And you enter the cathedral here. We'll have a road going down the center of the entire map. And notice I'm building it at an angle. I didn't want to build it directly on the grid, so I am completely off grid here, doing this pretty much all by hand. So, oops. Let's turn that grid off. Alt-G is the hotkey for that, by the way, if you want to turn the grid on and off really quickly. Yeah, so there's actually quite a few new brush options in the object brush panel. So before it just used to be this scatter brush. Now you have the grid brush, a ring brush, and a spline brush. So this is great if you want to like make some impromptu like fortifications here. Let's turn up the density a little bit. What is going on? There we go. So this is like, you know, quick little orc or, you know, goblin fort, maybe a brigand, you know, encampment. So once if an object is stacked on top of another object, they can move in unison. But if you raise an object off of its axes, it's no longer, like, it doesn't interface with the colliders anymore. So if you raise it even 1 millimeter, watch, here, let me grab this. Like, you could just raise it one tiny bit, right? And now it'll move around on that parallel without impunity. That's really nice, actually, in a lot of ways, if you want every object in the area, like I did these hedges, to all be the same height. Because the terrain underneath them isn't necessarily level. Some of it sinks down, some of it goes up. And I have all the hedges the same height. And so how I did that is I just kind of set the hedge at the height I wanted, and then I started duplicating that hedge, so all the following hedges were on that same height. That's one unique way to take advantage of that. But the downside is if you move something off of its axes, like vertically, or take it off of the floor plane or another collider, then it will no longer stack. It won't recognize colliders because its bottom collider is broken. You now tell it wherever you want to go manually. So yeah, if you want items to move as a unit, you cannot use, like this coin, I put it up there manually, floating it instead because there was no collider up on here. Essentially, a collider is like an invisible surface that tells Dungeon Alchemist the size of the object, the space it takes up. So while it looks like this cross, it's more or less just like a tall rectangle, the top of which there may not even be one, like up here. One moment. I will kind of move on to show you more about this in just 1 second. So you can actually import items into Dungeon Alchemist using our asset importer. So if you have any 3D models, like a personal collection, maybe you 3D print models, or if you've supported Humble Bundles or Patreons, or you've commissioned 3D models, maybe you know where to source them online, or you make them custom, like you know how to sculpt them or use CAD, etc. You can import a 3D model into Dungeon Alchemist to add to your builds. So this conical roof, we only have one kind of shingled spire roof at the moment. Our next update will address multi-floor and roofing. And oh my gosh, some of the stuff we've been showing in the background kind of in our alpha chat is crazy. It's coming along really well. And I can't wait till it's at a point when I can share it with the community. But for now, you can use objects to make a roof, right? So items like this is a custom roofing, and my wife made this for me because she's really talented with sculpting. And I wanted it to have a hatch for an observatory. So this is actually the roof of a 4th floor wizard tower. And this object, if you look at the colliders for the object, it's actually much different than the object shape. So it is a cylinder here. I actually used a ring collider, and I did that so I could put objects inside from the top and move them around, like put a token inside on the 4th floor and then look around. Oh no, the ZAxis is great. It does have some caveats though. I understand that, Rick. And honestly, I wanted to clarify why that was. So you did deduce that correctly, and there's nothing you did wrong. But yeah, be careful. If you move an object off of its Z-axis at all, it's now on its own kind of Z-plane, and it can only be moved manually. It won't move with the others. You know, I asked Wim if I could show you all earlier, and he never replied. Maybe I should just ask for forgiveness later. But notice, when you add a collider, we don't have a cone collider. We have a surface box, a ring, a cylinder, and a basket. So you have to use one of those colliders when you import, and a lot of our colliders are very basic shapes with very brilliant, like, wallpaper or texture mapping on them. Let me show you how this tower went. And then, while that's loading... Okay. I'm gonna open this map. Oh no, I totally get though, like ZAxis is game changing. So by the way, for anyone wondering how you do ZAxis, and that is like how you raise objects up on the vertical axes. So pretty much like 98% of the objects can be moved up and down. And that allows you to, you know, essentially make multi-floor buildings as long as you do it by hand. Yeah, that you only can manage colliders of objects you import. So we have an internal collider system as well, but many objects have a simple collider because essentially it keeps the object's file size much smaller. If you go and detail every surface and add a surface for every single edge, you start adding lots of polys, and it makes it more dense in the size. Our average map is very small for several reasons, mainly because we use a proprietary file format, .dam, Dungeon Alchemist Map, or DAM, and that works in tandem with our real-time 3D render engine. Things can increase file size, like adding custom images, 3D files, etc. No, Rick, that's what I'm here for, man. Ask the questions. Like, I am here to be AMA'd. As long as it's DA related. So, this map here I made over a couple months. Like 1 Monday a week, about an hour a week of work on the Mapmaker Monday, which I should be working on the other map now, but I just wanted to show you what kind of came of it. So that was that tower I was showing you, and this is on the workshop. Anyone can download this. Just search Observatory Roof on the workshop. Anyway, so this is a wizard's respite. It's kind of it's his little getaway in the middle of a dense, massive forest. There's no trail here to hike in. You have to fly in or teleport in. And it's kind of designed to be his getaway where he can practice his magic in peace, or maybe, you know, invite friends for company deep in a reclusive, you know, space where they can train and kind of have privacy. And I think of it as kind of like his like I said, like his respite. So it's a 4-story tower, but on the outside you have an apiary, a beautiful garden, herbs, food, etc. A lavatory, which I chose assets in the from our stock assets with removable roofs in this case, so you could see inside. I'm not sure why you would want to, but in the lavatory's case, we've got a shed here where he's got some of his tools and he can do his various projects. And you know, manage his different stuff, you know, maybe sharpen his you know, his garden tools or build new ones, etc. A well. And then notice out the back here of this granite, this is where a lot of the this granite was what was used as a quarry to make like the foundation and a lot of the tower. There's a little hatch in the back here. This is an escape hatch, the sewer escape hatch kind of thing, a tunnel system that allows the wizard to escape in case there is a threat, which he's kind of paranoid. And even though it's remote, he still feels like there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance. Clack, when can you expect the next update? We're deep in development of the next update. There's no ETA right now, unfortunately. I would say it's, you know, our average development cycles between 3 and 6 months, but it is coming along quite well. Now, speaking of that, I actually have a teaser to share with you all if you're interested. This is very, very alpha stuff, okay? That's why the flooring looks just like one tile set. But as you can see, multi-flooring and roofing is coming along. This is going to change how roofing works right now. But multi-level and roofing is definitely on the menu, boys and girls. So kind of getting back to this, you can do multi-level and roofing right now, but it has to be objects. So you have to use objects, i.e. these. Objects, if you disable their collisions, not only will it allow you to merge them together, whereas normally they kind of throw a fit if you try and put them close together, right? If you disable collisions, objects can be raised up and down, right? And they can be scaled far below or beyond their capacity. Pretty much like 98% of our objects can do this. The only limitation would be objects that affix themselves to the ground, like a pit, or, you know, things like that. Okay, now listen. That teaser is extremely alpha, okay? Subject to change, and there's a lot of work going on in the background to make sure it's fine-tuned and beautiful. So, removable roofing, there's 2 ways to do it. Some assets, stock stuff in DA has a little roof toggle. If it has a roof toggle, you can flip the roof on and off. There's quite a few objects that have this, actually. But not many. I would say like over a dozen, though. There is like some... Anyway, just kind of keep on lookout for them. Some tents, some different things have a removable roof. So... keep your eye peeled. Alternatively, you can use object roofs, which if you go to the workshop and hit browse assets, you can type roof. There is hundreds of roofing options here, including the Observatory Roof. These ones are free to download, and they have a bunch of different shape options and themes, allowing you to essentially kind of fill in different niches until we offer more roofing options. Additionally, there's some stock roofing. This shingled spire. This shingled roof. Now remember, when I showed you disabling collisions, start merging roofs together, make kind of a neat little fun custom house. You can use these to make a custom roof right now. Alternatively, there's a few objects that, like this tree house, like I said, that have a roof, the shed, different things like that. Tents, etc. I think there's an igloo. There's a bunch of different objects with a removable roof. Rick, I never did personally. You know, our community goes on these like kind of stints where they'll like look for Easter eggs like crazy and then kind of give up on it for a while and then come back to it for a while. Ultimately, at this point, I haven't heard of anyone finding an Easter egg for probably a few months, but I don't recall any of them being found with the cannon. So this is the 4th floor, the observatory, and it's dark in here to kind of allow for, you know, better viewing. We've got a balcony out on the other edge with a tiny little viewing scope, and then the massive observatory scope. There was a weather vane with a coil running down so we can kind of grab power and store it in the batteries to charge and drive the the massive mechanisms of the telescope, excuse me. And I like to think the roof rotates with it, but whatever. Here is the bedroom, which has a lovely little bath where the the wizard can study, unwind, eat, etc. He's got a little plate of steak and his rubber duck. Dirty clothes hamper, little wash basin, end tables, and his lovely bed, his trusty companion Seymour. Some of his gear, dressers, and just stuff to store his various items, clothing, and then some treasure. Down the center here is a spiral stair. By the way, these floor platforms and the spiral stairs and the kind of rounded stairs, this little hatch floor, this was all made by Swedish Cook and shared on the workshop. They're actually in a collection. So if you go to the workshop and hit browse collections, you can find them and download them in an entire collection. The outer walls are stock DA assets, but the inner floors and some of the stairs stuff are from that pack. Here is the study and library area where you can work on his various potions and alchemical mixtures and whatnot. Read books and learn and experiment. There we have his hearth and food storage area to cook and clean and eat, and notice there's a hatch which leads to the escape area out the back. And I started building this before we launched Magic, where you could do a base floor with round rooms and have a door. So I made kind of just what looks like a door, but there is no door. Technically, you can't walk out. And it's too late now to rebuild it all. So I guess I could pull off the lower 3 floors and just rebuild the bottom. But at this point, I'm kind of committed to this, so I'm just going to leave it. Immersively, though, it's beautiful and works great for several reasons. Each floor is a pull apart. This, delete the roof, file, save as, floor 4, export. Pull off floor 4. Everything on floor 4 is stacked on this wooden floor piece. I made sure of that, so when I raise them up on the Z-axis, they all move together as a single piece and saves me a lot of time. The only exclusion would be the deck. So you could pull this off, pull this floor off. Each floor you can delete them as a single piece and save each floor. Floor 2, floor 3, floor 4, etc. So even though I used the Z-axis, I made sure before I started building that floor that everything was on top of one layer that could move as a single piece. So everything is on this floor, and as a result of which, moves with the floor. And I can Control Z to just undo all my damage. We're back to normal. Let's get back to the cemetery, folks. I do love the Wizard Tower, and I honestly, you know what? I'm going to finish the artwork for it today. I'm going to sit down with Mrs. Mac. We'll get that done and upload it. Hey, cartographer. How you doing, buddy? Sorry, I didn't notice your chat before. I apologize. I was busy explaining that multi-level and just got so into it. So, back to the build, which I've barely done anything on today. I guess I added a hedge. So, I guess we got some work done. I really wish collisions, like the DA save my preferences, my build preferences. Like, it saves, you know, the quality, it saves my resolution, but it doesn't save my preferences for collisions. That's something I want very badly. Yeah, my headset band is green, which in hindsight is a bad decision. How you doing, Bane? Welcome back. What you been up to this weekend? By the way, speaking of which, did anyone get any sessions in this weekend or do anything interesting? Let's talk about it. Because I'm sure you love hearing me talk for hours. Been busy on a commission, cartographer? Dude, I've been loving the videos you've been posting lately on TikTok, by the way. Very much enjoy those. So, you know, I'll definitely keep liking them. Scouring the workshop today to gauge what fits. Are you looking for, like, a map to kind of use as a reference? I'm assuming, or you're looking for assets, actually. So, let's see here. Armando Rodriguez Correa, thank you for the like on Facebook. The Jester, thank you for the follow here on Twitch. And Nintendo Support, thank you for the follow as well. By the way, if you are enjoying the stream on whatever platform we're on, you happen to be watching, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, share, etc. That means the world to me as the community manager to, you know, help grow our community platforms and have more people participating in our community initiatives. But it also helps you locate the streams again later. You know, if you're subbed or following, you always will get at least potentially get a notification or see us when we go live. Man, if it was the Nintendo Support, that'd be hilarious, because I've been using them since I was like 8, because they had the Nintendo Support sticker you could call on the console and just dial in and get assistance as a child. Also, Nintendo Power Magazine had a number you could call and you could get help from like a pro. They were like the original Geek Squad, you know? Somebody who was like really good at beating the levels, the original streamers or somebody, or like YouTube tutorials. They'd like walk you through it over the phone. Cartographer, dude, keep it up, man. I think if you keep this drive and keep making maps and like your content, your modules, etc., your settings, you will most definitely succeed, my friend. I'm gonna put a little more rock around the edges here. I also want to kind of make sure that, see, that's not parallel. I am too... Yeah, I think I'm going to delete. Honestly, though, the way I look at it, cartographer, is like a snowball. That's how all content creation is. You know, some creators get lucky, right? They'll get like viral really quick, or you know, maybe someone notices them, or they get a boost from some popular person. But that's few and far between. The people who grow the biggest and stay the longest are usually the people who grind consistently. You know what I mean? So, and it starts small, like a little grain of snow, you know, a snowflake that hit the slope and starts rolling. And, you know, you may hit a ledge here and there, like where you kind of lose some momentum, but then you'll jump off ledges sometimes and build up a ton of extra snow and start rolling and rolling. Before you know it, just absolutely, you know, this massive avalanche of momentum. I've seen it time and time and time again with, content creators, streamers, all sorts of different creators in general who are dedicated to their craft. If you stick with it, if you have, consistency, well, that I think is a great thing early on, where your viewers can find you like on a set time or a set day every week. Things like that can go a long way to really guide your community and help you grow. There's several ways you could address it, Rick. One kind of neat, I guess you could just put a picture frame on it, right? So you could find any of the paintings. Something like that. Whoa. Y'all see that? That was a trip. What the... There's a collider nearby that is arguing the heck out of this thing. Something like that. Then you've got a frame, and then you could just put a custom image in it. The problem is you want to put the image in before you move the frame. Oh, I feel you, man. How's your recovery going? Dyro, I doubt we'll ever get DA on the Switch. Honestly, wait. Did you say you ran it on this? Hold on, I'm confused. So, that would be hilarious, though. I would love to try and get a Steam Deck to try and run DA on there, see how effective it is. DA on NES, right? What was that, like 4-bit? Or 8-bit. Inscriptions, you would use an abstract then. So you would grab the abstract planes, like these bad boys, right? This one's thin. I don't have an inscription, so I'll just kind of grab something as an example. So you could essentially fill the workable space of this template with, like, custom text. So this guy here, there is a... Oops. Template right there. You can click, it goes to our website, which that would be this bad boy right here. And this image is the template image for it. It's 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels. Put that in an image editor, right? The outside of this green area is negative space. You leave that blank. Inside of this is where you would put your inscription. So, RIP, here lies, mac and cheese. He died trying to give great AMA directions. I got you, Dyro. I got you. So this area, consider this like a safe space or a stencil area where you would fill in the graphics and you would just leave everything behind the etchings as blank. So you could just do kind of like some gray or some like brown, something that would appear well. White probably would appear well, or a dark black type color. So you would just Do like a tombstone. Here, let's see if I can find something. Tombstone. Oops. Why am I in caps? Yeah, none of these are really good. Anyway, you get the idea. You know, I can put together a curator list at some point. I follow tons of DA streamers and YouTube creators, but the thing is not always will people be doing those things when they're live. Some streamers, they may stream DA once a week, some stream it every time. Some YouTube creators make one DA video every 6 months, or some do them once a month. You know what I mean? You know, at one point in the past, I tried pitching to our devs a sort of like a creator team, right? The Dungeon Alchemist Creator Guild. And unfortunately, it really didn't ever go anywhere. It was a great idea, but unfortunately at the time there were other priorities, and a pin was put in it, and that's pretty much all there was. So I'm thinking of doing like a greenhouse exterior type thing, or maybe like I really want like nice metal gates around this area, similar to how I have over here, but I'm gonna put like the fancy graves in this area. Old, what did your players do? I gotta hear this. Why is it such a buggy rotation right now? My mouse might be dirty. Like it's skipping. Oh no. Oh no. Why do so many players love to provoke Strahd? Like it happens more than you'd think. Is it a bad idea to provoke Strahd? No, my DM is just being a bully. Hey, Ricky, how you doing, buddy? You can actually do more than just swivel rooms now, too, by the way. You can lower them and raise them. So I'm trying to make this like an interesting grave plot for like a family, you know, like a mausoleum or something. No! No! Ripperoni. Yep, it is a good time. Luckily, I save pretty frequently, but I do have an autosave set up. So this is a great teachable moment. If you don't have autosave up, make sure you do. Hey, we'll see you later, Rick. Thank you for dropping by. You're welcome back anytime. Let's see what it'll recover. So there's the recovery feature that'll usually try and save what you did before you crash, so that's good. I don't recall making that big. Sink that down on the ground a little bit so it's not powering. Okay. I guess all I have to do is resculpt this area. For the most part, it's pretty good. So if you go to File, Settings, right? Under here it says Autosave. There is an autosave interval, which you can set an interval of 1 minute to 60 minutes. And then enable autosave and hit save. Depending on your interval, it will automatically save at that interval. And I'll be honest with you, the more frequently you save, the less laggy it is in DA. If you save like every 30 minutes, the saves take forever. So the more often you're saving, you know, the better DA will run when you're going to save, the less time it takes, etc. But if you go to where the map is originally saved at, there'll be a save right next to it that's an autosave. So notice the difference in time. My autosave is from 10:08. I'm going to open that up before there's a new one. Let's see what it had. DA also sometimes when it crashes will autosave, but yeah, it did everything but generate the house because it crashed on the generation. So the other downside of an autosave on a short interval, if you open the map back up and you forget that the autosave is a much newer version that's like an hour newer, you need to hurry and open up the autosave one first instead. Because the autosave will likely be, you know, the one with the most versatility. So what I'm going to do is save as, right? And then we'll just save over the ancient cemetery. And that will save as and open it up as the ancient cemetery. So it'll replace that one. Done. So now I'm back into the master save file, and the autosave will start saving a minute from now. So we're good to go. So for the next minute, I'm going to spend some time cleaning up this little terrain pad, and then we'll do the generation of that house. And I do this in stages. So I'm going to do a nice kind of small brush, and I'm going to just bring this stone into the brush area next to it, so it feels more actually like it's road or paved out, or it might be a stone paver adjacent. And I do this in 2 steps, sometimes 3 for touch up. I go under with this regular kind of stone. Our brushes, some of them have more powerful layering and some of them have like breaks in them. And I found that if you underlayer one of the stones with another one, it actually looks very, very good for a road. But as you can see here, I'm just going along the edges and trimming up these little hedge areas where the stone is leaking out around the hedge. Kind of like this. In fact, I'll probably just push this all the way back to the fence. I don't know why, but my terrain brush has been jumping lately. I really hope the devs update the terrain brush at some point. Sorry, stand by. I just remembered something else. Where are your topiaries? I'm gonna find them. Darn it. I didn't find them. This makes me so mad. Ooh, I got an idea. I'm gonna save one more time and open something. In the asset browser, they might be just under plants. Let's try potted plants. Let's try plants. Usually you gotta select like a category. Well, you don't have to. Select the category, it makes it so much easier. There it is. Okay, found the topiaries. Topiary is how he spelled it. That's why I cannot find it. Nice. A shrubbery. Interesting. Well, now I know how to find them. This whole time I thought they didn't exist, and they don't technically because it's just not spelled right. Okay, let's hurry and save again, and we'll continue my thought with the road. So I went over with the other terrain type, and then I'm going to go over it again with this kind of hobbly, flagstone-ish road type. If I take this over green, notice the green kind of crests through the cracks in it. That would happen here. So I start with the rock and then go over it with the road paver. I missed a little sliver. Here. Yeah, da, 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 da. I'm mapping it. Y'all are funny. Let's grab that terrain tool. Oops, don't want that. Pave paradise to put up a parking lot. Okay. Let's search for an arch of some sort. I feel like we have I don't know where it is though, a garden type arch, but I might be wrong. Try something like this. Yeah, freestanding could work too. Gosh, collisions. Thinking like a pergola type thing. Use a moon gate. Then just sink it into the ground. That kind of looks neat. Right? Bam! Nope, you're in the Feywild. Did you deserve it? Maybe. I got an idea. Let me just check these really quick. Yeah, I want something like that. Okay, let's see if we can manipulate this. Got so zealous there about what it deleted. Yeah, I don't like this plan. Bummer. All right. I heard a loud noise just now, and it's actually like a massive commotion outside. It's... It's the garbage man. I think he just dropped the garbage. Something like a big garbage can on the ground. Alright. I need a minute to take a break really quick. I'm gonna go use the restroom. It's the trash man! Did I catch you, Cricket? Okay. I'm gonna run a quick little ad break while I'm away.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before...
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him!
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever, find family, kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
You stand before the long, dark...
And I'm back. So, I am eager to continue work on this, but I just noticed that, I don't know. There we go. Get that music back. Way too quiet. Way too quiet. Thinking like a fence here or something. You know, they probably should, right? We also just got a new commercial, which I am going to be sharing it soon. So that the people who made that one, they're a group called Deerstalker Pictures, or One for All is what most people know them by. And they make really funny tabletop themed skits. They also make skits for other games and stuff, but they essentially are like a comedy group that focuses on short form funny videos around tabletop settings. And we kind of linked up with them a little over a year ago. And this idea for the whole wobbling the goblin thing was originally an idea I pitched to the devs about an ad that would have the players, you know, the DM had a whole session prepped and they were all planned, had all their maps, and the players like, we want to go here, and then they're like, ugh, so I got to make something on the fly that they don't have prepped. And the devs were like, oh, we should use Wobbling the Goblin and do this, and then it came together as this whole script, right? Devs pitched some ideas, I pitched some ideas, essentially come up with this script, and then we showed it to them, and they thought it was really funny, and they were like, well, we normally do it where people are like dressed up in the campaign, and it's of campaign characters, but we think it'd be funny to do this new kind of setup where it's the players instead, and we're like, oh, that'd be great. So you could find that on our website, by the way, on YouTube. So here, if you go on our YouTube, that ad is on there somewhere. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Stand by. But anyway, there's the link directly to it if you want to check it out. Anyone who is watching on Twitch can check that out. Fortunately, I have trouble sharing links on other places, but that trailer, you can watch that over and over again. It's essentially just a fun, kind of neat advertisement for DA, humorous. There's a new one to advertise our round rooms, which I probably should be posting soon. Anyway, they essentially did a new one for us to help us advertising our new like round and diagonal walls. So that video we actually just got from them a few days ago, hoping to share it soon too. Hey, Guafa, how you doing? Going crazy. This brush will not work. Okay. Works now. That was weird. Okay. What I think I'm going to do is have some pavers and then kind of come over here to like a little garden or something behind the cathedral. You want an oval, Ricky? Let me show you how to make an oval, buddy. Really easy. Actually, ovals are much easier to make than round rooms. In fact, more people end up making ovals on accident. So if you want to make a perfectly round room, you need to make sure the square, it's a perfect square shape to start. If you want an oval, just take one side off and go, you know, an uneven amount. And the more you stretch it out, the more ovoid it'll become, or bean-shaped. You just pull one to one side, one to the other, and you could even leave it up a little bit more like that and even bean it out more, and you start getting these kind of weird shapes, right? Second. Probably should have pulled this one in first. That one looks like some kind of troll meme face. Let's see here. You want an exact oval. I believe you would take... What just happened? Oh man, DA just bugged out. That was so weird. Oh man, the room draw tool is not showing up for me. I don't see the interface. Do you guys see that? There we go, it's back. Okay. That was weird. It bugged out for me for a solid like 10 seconds. An oval office, huh? So I got it started, but I think I made it too long here. Let's take 2 rows off here. Try that. Man, I've made it a bunch of times, and now that I'm trying to, I can't. I don't know what my deal is. Getting closer. No, I swear, I filmed a video one time, and I made like a dozen ovals in a row, and I got really mad at myself. You know what, let's go a normal symmetrical shape and just try that. Maybe I'm like wrong and you just need to pull it over more. Yep, there you go. There's your oval. Okay, so make it, I started on the wrong tangent, so it does have to start like a circle would, an exact even amount of squares. So you can't do like a 15 by 15 because you can't split a square in half in DA. So it has to have an even number of squares on each side. So in this case, 12 by 12, right? Turn that grid on. Then I'm going to pull one side past the center, pull the other one over, pull the other side past the center, pull the other one over. And then we've got that egg shape. So you could do this up to 20 by 20 as the max size. So if you take this and did like a quick 20 by 20... Just make sure when you're pulling the first arm of the circle, you pull it past this. Oh no, it won't go oval. No, it's going to be a perfect circle no matter what you go up this high, I guess. That's a bummer. Why do they do this? Let's try an 18. By the way, if you hold control, you can delete sections of the building. Yeah, you can go past the center point there. So you can make an oval up to 18 by 18, it looks like. And it starts getting kind of... It's missing some of it points, but it still is ovoid. So that is the largest oval you can make. I'm great, Guafa. Thank you for asking. So there's a... I mean, if you're going for an oval office, isn't it a pretty big room to begin with, the original? Sorry. Phone keeps going off, and I thought I muted it. And I guess I didn't mute notifications, so my bad. Okay, muted. What? Okay, Lois, that's interesting. That's one I have not heard of before. Interesting. Something like that. And then their plot just kind of is massive. Something like that. We're gonna save really quick. Please generate. Heck happened here? Well, okay. Did not turn out how I wanted. The AI is not really happy. Let's try regenerating it a couple times. And I'm going to place the door in a different location, which ought to influence the plot a lot more. So, by the way, just so you know, in DA, when you move a gate or a door on a structure, it changes the AI generation's focal point. So if the focal point is where the door lies on the build. I think it was having trouble generating before because there was no door. So I kind of want something that feels like a gate. Like this. Walls, we got some iron. Just want to see how this looks. Definitely don't like the layout of the plots and like this stuff. It looks very like not good. But we'll play around with it. You can decorate this whole space to whatever we want now. And now that I've got the room kind of laid out with a door on it, I'm going to try and regenerate it. Okay. I do like that fence, though. That being said, it totally is weird how it moved all these. Let's regenerate it a few times, see what we get. And the AI is incredibly zealous with these. I think it's just too big and it's struggling to try and figure out what to do. Okay. Well, I like the fence. Let's try and get a different floor. Okay, I like that grass. I like the gates. I don't like the innards. So we'll probably just grab the object eraser and just quickly wipe out some of this ugly here. Really want to keep the trees, but I'm going to talk to the devs about the plot generation for cemeteries. It's just weird with different shaped rooms. I put a diagonal wall on it and it didn't even know what to do. Welcome. Is it Giles or Heles? Dabavour? Dabavo? I want to make sure I pronounce that correct. My French is not that great, so I apologize. But welcome to the stream. And in answer to your question, yes, we have several planned updates still remaining that will address quite a few different themes. Our next update is called Fun with Objects, which should give you more versatility and control over object manipulation, etc. Hey, Salinari. It's Dutch? Ah, gotcha. My bad. My bad. I apologize there. So this is going to be like a family's private, plot or something. So I'm thinking some of these types of things, right? Some of these. We'll just get a mixture of them so we can kind of pull from them like a palette. Does anyone do that? They'll lay out the objects they want to use in an area and then kind of pull from those. Yeah, I'll typically grab all the objects I want to use and just kind of set them off to the side like this. And then use them as like a palette for that area. I definitely like that grave that's up against the edge there. Put one of these here somewhere, like at the top of a grave. it sees this fence and goes flat, but not this one. Watch, it'll go flat on this one. No. That's interesting. Huh. Let's try collisions off. Oh, there, we can get it to snap. Huh. All of a sudden it'll snap. That's weird. Okay. We'll just disable collisions or something like this. Put these in manually because their snapping points don't align. Put some flowers and stuff on them. Solinari, this is Dungeon Alchemist primarily is designed to make maps to use in your tabletop campaigns. It's not really multiplayer, it's a map making and immersion tool. So you can build beautiful maps that you can either export for print, so you can print a map to share with your players, or you can take video clips and walkthroughs of your maps to share with your players. You can export a JPEG or a video to use in like online play through what's called a virtual tabletop. So things like Foundry, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, these are tools that work in tandem with Dungeon Alchemist. You make a map in Dungeon Alchemist and you export it to use in, say, Roll20 or Foundry, so your players can all play online, and the map has line of sight, walls, windows, doors, etc. Now, keeping that in mind, okay, you can make maps to play in person. You can make maps to use with TV tabletops, projector tabletops. You can make maps to play online. And like I said earlier, we have camera tools, so you could like open up cinematic mode and fly a drone over your, over your map and get some footage of it for your players. So like a little fly through of this as an immersive shot or something like that. You can record and take screenshots in this mode. And additionally, there's another mode we offer that is first person mode. You can place a token and walk around and screenshot or record in this view. Now in this view, you can actually stream this over like Discord or Zoom, and your players can, see through this particular point of view. It's not really intended for online play. I have seen people use it that way, though, like where the DM will actually move the players' tokens for them. Like, we offer a grid. You can put the tokens on the grid, and they'll just be like, where do you want your token? Oh, you want it up 3 grid squares, 4 grid squares? Okay, cool. That's the end. What do you want to do? You want to attack the other token that's over here? Sure. But keep in mind, if you are doing this online, there really isn't multiplayer support, so you're doing all of the movements for them. But I have seen DMs take and take an image of a map or a video loop of a map and put it on a TV table. Have you seen those videos or images online of like a TV tabletop or a projector tabletop with the grid on it, and then the players will move their tokens in person? There's lots of ways to do this. So, and at some point we do plan to offer more like limited VTT support, allowing you to do more with it. Yeah, I've actually played in a game where the DM followed along in first person, right? And whatever we were doing in the top, because when you export in DA, your maps are primarily top down, right? So this is the main perspective of like what you see, right? Or what your players see and how they play is in top down, correct? So you can add that first person perspective and follow along in Discord or Zoom, and then your players can be like, oh, we want to go and check out this cathedral. Can we go in? Can your player go there? Yeah, sure. Boom, now you're in. Honestly, Dungeon Alchemist wasn't originally intended for TV tabletop. The creators of Dungeon Alchemist conceived it as a map-making tool for printing. And then they added virtual tabletops like Foundry, Fantasy Grounds, etc. And then TV tabletop support just kind of happened because it works so well. You turn on the grid, put a still image or a looped map, and then you just kind of move the map along for your players in top-down mode. Here you can go in and hide the UI, so you could just do straight Dungeon Alchemist live without all the tools present, and they can have their tokens on top of the screen or the projected surface, or inside of DA. DA is Dungeon Alchemist for short, by the way. I just want to point out, we are in the waning moments of the stream. We only have about 5-10 minutes left before we wrap up for the day. So if you have any questions, any concerns, suggestions, feedback, please let me know before we wrap up, and I will do my best to address it. So what I want to do with these columbariums is have like a row of them down like here on the side where they are like snapped together. Right? Something like that. But I forgot. You gotta press tab in between so you can fill them up with stuff. So when you generate an object off of another, if it has variations of decoration, it'll automatically generate a new one so you have more diversity. But if you press tab, you can kind of cycle through the pre-gen ones. Sometimes there's like 5 to 10 pre-generated. Lila, I don't have an ETA on the next update. I will just say our average update cycle's 3 to 6 months, and we're about a month and a half, 2 months into this current one. We launched our last update actually 2 months ago. So, and we took about a month break in between because, you know, rest and relaxation, time to recharge the mental batteries, so to speak. But the devs are hard at work on our next update. There's lots of neat stuff happening. These don't even fit in between them. Don't even have the same snapping points. I mean, yeah, we have dozens of token options, so you could just put NPCs down if you wanted to throughout the map as interactable options, guards, etc. We have Hero Forge integration, so if you make tokens on Hero Forge, you can export them, purchase them as a 3D digital, and import them to DA by linking your account. We have a partnership with Bite the Bullet Studios. They make tokens custom for us with each update. They just started this partnership with the Magic update. So each update going forward will include, you know, a dozen or so free tokens that are themed with the update. Additionally, there's several free tokens, NPC themed monsters, characters already as selection options. And then lastly, well, 2 more options. You can go to the browse asset section of the workshop and then select tokens. There's pages and pages of tokens, both standard, you know, non-detailed, no painting, no animation, like a traditional like flat gray token. You can grab one of these and insert it into your map, for instance. And there's hundreds of free ones. Some are animated, some are detailed with color, and some are flat gray. When they're a flat gray like this, usually that means they're an STL file. STL files have color options, so you can quickly add like a skin to it for like a status. Oh, it's on fire. Oh, it's poison. Or just give it some personality if it doesn't have any. And any token you can go into first person and walk around in. Man, that got bigger all of a sudden. Anyway, you can import 3D models as well. So if you have the ability to make 3D models, or if you purchased a bunch through like Humble Bundles, Patreons, My Mini Factory, Hero Forge, etc. If you have the 3D files, STL, FBX, or GLB/GLTF files can be imported into Dungeon Alchemist. Let me hurry and save and I'll show you before we wrap up the stream. So if you go into the Steam Workshop tab, not only can you browse our repository of over 9,000 maps and 5,000 3D models that were shared by our community, but you can also import custom models Yeah, I 3D print as well. I have 3 different 3D printers, so I have a mountain of 3D models. Plus, I do a little bit of sculpting, and my wife is a prolific sculptor as well. She actually made this roof for me, which I imported using this tool, which is built into Dungeon Alchemist. Anybody who has access to 3D models or can make them can potentially import a model. And what you do is you import the asset, as long as it's the correct file type. Then you can name it. Make sure you put a space in the name, no hashes or underscores, because the name and all the keywords are searchable terms. In keywords, you want to put a comma and a space between each of them. Then you set the object type. If it's your personal asset that you've made, then nothing can stop you from importing it into Dungeon Alchemist, as long as you have the right file type. So my wife made this, imported it. You can import assets and keep them local, so you don't have to upload them to the Steam Workshop to share. You can keep them local, or you can publish them on the Steam Workshop to share, which many people do. Assets on the workshop are comprised of assets that were made by people in our community who just shared them. They love making and sharing them for fun. It's a passion of theirs. Others sourced models from like third-party websites like Sketchfab and Tinkercad, or not Tinkercad, Thingiverse. But what they did is they carefully source models with licensing that allows them to be shared as long as they're not being resold. It's called Creative Commons. So there's lots and lots of 3D models out there that are shared under the Creative Commons license, and as long as you're not reselling or using it with the intention of reselling something from it, derived from it, i.e. if you make a map using assets that you found online that are Creative Commons, there's usually not much legal issue there. But if you're reselling it or flipping the assets as your own, telling people they're yours, that's a problem. The other thing to consider too, Steam monitors that, not us. It's Steam's workshop where the assets are shared. We use the space. So we do kind of have limited moderating tools where people can report assets that they feel are like stolen or a copyright infringement. But Steam is usually the one that drops the hammer, so you don't want to mess with them. They have a lot more reach and ability and legal capability than we do by far. So if you're uploading assets to the workshop, make sure you created them or have a Creative Commons license that you're properly attributing in the description, or have the permission of the creator to share it. Titan Forge, if they offer 3D model export where you can purchase the model as, or like export it as a STL or a GLTAF/GLB or FBX file, then yes, you can import them. I'm not familiar with Titan Forge. We don't have integration with them directly, but a 3D model is a 3D model. As long as you can get a hold of that file, you can do that. So if Titan Forge offers the ability to purchase it as like an STL or a painted file, then you can potentially import that or convert and import that. Did that answer all your questions? Because I think I'm going to wrap up the stream here. I have to say, I very much appreciate everyone that dropped in today. We got a bunch of new follows, likes, subscribes, tons of likes on TikTok. 1,200 plus likes. Thank you so much, TikTok, for bringing the rain. And I appreciate everyone else that dropped in and supported us. Lila, thank you for the follow in the last 15 minutes or so. New Age Pagan as well, much appreciated. And welcome to the Dam fam, as I like to say. When you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, it's saved as our proprietary file format, .dam, as you see up here. That stands for Dungeon Alchemist Map. We like to lean into that and have some fun with it. You know, do you remember the old Vegas Vacation skit where he goes to the dam? It's kind of like that, but more modernized. So we say, give a damn when people post a map or images of a map that looks cool. We're like, give a damn to share it. We have a weekly stream or a bi-weekly stream called the Damn Stream, where we showcase maps from the community workshop of over 9,000 free maps that anyone with a copy of Dungeon Alchemist can browse that repository of maps by either searching, go by most popular, most recent, etc. But there are tons and tons of maps in here that are module supported for existing campaigns. Many are custom built, and tons are built by hand very methodically, which saves you tons of time if you need something for your campaign. Let's see here. One downside of STL Solinari is they'll be a flat gray, but then you have all the different skin options for them. So, we say, we have the damn stream, the damn challenge, give a damn, you know, things like that. So, we, once in a while, we'll do a thing called hot damn. It's like hot potato, but you pass the map around between creators, and then the next person works on it for like a day or an hour, and then passes it on. Next person works on it. So, we just kind of lean into that and have fun. So, if you hear us saying that, we're definitely not swearing. It's just being nerds about our brand. Anyway, thank you everyone for participating today in Mapmaker Monday, which is also a weekly stream. If you're interested in participating in any of our future streaming initiatives, let me just drop a schedule real quick in chat. This will show our streams on Twitch at least. Our next stream is actually on Wednesday. And it will be the office hours stream. Every Wednesday in our Discord. These streams are exclusive to our Discord. We host a stream where you can, essentially, it's a much more laid-back event where we provide live support. We, you know, answer questions. We sometimes show teasers or do interviews with other staff. And we essentially just hang out and get to know each other as cartographers and answer questions related to campaign stuff. Sometimes we get talking about other things that we're passionate about or use it as ideas for homebrew, inspiration, etc. Here's a link to follow. Make sure you click on that. The link is available on our Twitch feed. Unfortunately, I'm not... here, I'll put it in Steam as well. But if you're not already, hop in our Discord. Definitely a great place to be. We provide support. We have many GMs there that like to help you come up with ideas for your campaign or ways to challenge your players, balance encounters, come up with stat blocks, etc. And we have people sharing 3D models, sharing maps, just generally having a great time and being a great vibe. And there are events that remind you to upcoming things. Oh, shoot. One last thing before we wrap up. We have a giveaway going on right now. It's a very, very cool giveaway, and it's almost over. In 3 days, it wraps up, okay? So right now, we're giving away 3 custom dice sets that were commissioned by a very talented creator named Chaos Pixie. She streams here on Twitch, as well as she's a content creator on a variety of platforms. But... here, I'll just show you the video. Are you guys not hearing that audio? What the heck? I had fixed this before I went live, and now it's not working. This is so frustrating. Stand by. I'm going to find it. Wow. I don't know what I did. It was working earlier, but now it's not. Oh well. Hey, cartographers, we hit an incredible milestone. Oh, it's working now. maps on Steam Workshop. To say thank you, we're giving away 3 Dungeon Alchemist themed prizes. One lucky winner will receive a... Why is it echoing like crazy? Weird. And 2 runners-up will receive custom-themed dice sets. Oh, I know where the echo is. Here it is. Let's try it one more time. I think I got it this time. I'm sorry. I thought I fixed this earlier. I guess it just needed a refresh. Hey, cartographers, we hit an oh my goodness. I don't know where the... over 9,000 maps on Steam Workshop. To say thank you, we're giving away 3 Dungeon Alchemist themed prizes. One lucky winner will receive a custom glow-in-the-dark dice set and a double-sided dice tray/map. And 2 runners-up will receive custom-themed dice sets. Click enter below for a chance to win. All right. Well, it's working at least. I don't know if you guys were getting an echo. Were you getting an echo or not? I just need to know. Could you hear the audio at all there that last time or no? Hey, cartographers. We hit an incredible milestone. There are over 9... Anyway. Yeah, I need to figure out what it is. I think it's coming in through 2 sources, and I just need to figure out what the second one was. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you everyone for participating today. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you all. That video is available in our Discord. Just pop in and you can watch it. Sound good? I apologize. But we're giving away 3 custom dice sets. One of them has glow-in-the-dark vials in it. The other one's green, and another one's clear with like gold and green writing. And then 1 lucky winner will get the glow-in-the-dark set with this 2-sided map tray that is actually a dice tray. So it's got a couple little encounters, a pub and a forest encounter, and then a neat little snappable dice tray. So if you're interested in participating, make sure you drop into our Discord and click those links. Follow it. There's only 3 days left to enter. And we have, oh my goodness, over 2,000 entries so far, which is insane. There will be 3 winners drawn automatically. Salinari, the link isn't working. Here, let me see if I can get a Dungeon Alchemist link for you. 1 second. So if you follow that, that can join our Discord. Go to the announcement channel after you join, okay? Also, I think sometimes people might have limitations in their Discord app that don't allow them to open links and go to the web-based Discord. Yeah, Discord's preferences, especially if you have privacy or different things to prevent like all this stuff randomly opening, I could foresee that being problematic. Take a look there, join our Discord, hop into the announcement channel, watch the video, click enter, and good luck, everyone. We'll see you next time I Give a Damn, which is on Wednesday with office hours. Peace out. Bye. Bye.